Hello friends. Welcome to Car and Life channel. Today we will introduce vehicles Mercedes C300 Coupe 2016 review long-term report 4, farewell. Our time with the swoopy and stylish 2016 Mercedes-Benz C300 Coupe has drawn to a close. Unlike most of our long-term cars, which stay in one primary location, the C300 spent time with both the Sydney and Melbourne offices, and as such had a wider range of the car advice team through its long and heavy doors. Kurt introduced the car back in June as being the alpha car of the Sydney garage, so taken were we all with its modern and distinctive style. Then we read how Tony basically ignores any drive mode other than Sport Plus, and sought to double the 6.6 L/100 km fuel consumption claim. And most recently, Mandy penned her thoughts on the design of the stylish two-door as it made its way south of the Murray to the land of the long black macchiato. So now, a summary. What did we collectively think of the white coupe, and, given Mercedes' continual success with the C-Class range, do we recommend it? Andrew Beecher, Managing Director and CEO. I spent a fair bit of time in this car, both in Sydney in my daily inner-city commute and Melbourne with my far longer regular round trip from the car advice office down to the Mornington Peninsula, 97 km each way, one set of traffic lights. Most of time in Melbourne was spent in the C300 with my small family, one car-obsessed 18-month-old, my partner, and our dog, alongside all the usual paraphernalia you need to carry with kids. The aesthetics of this coupe makes it a genuine everyday head-turner. In Sydney, on my first day in the C300, a neighbor crossed the road to ask me all about it, and that remained the theme on many outings in the swoopy coupe. It made me feel good every time I walked up to it, and I felt the same way even after over 4 months of living with it. The white bodywork with the black glass roof and chrome trim highlights really showcased our C300 long-termer to its full potential. In terms of specifications, I can say with confidence that if I was to buy a C300, this is exactly how I would option it. Strangely, the C Coupe is a TARDIS of load carrying. It is so big that I lost the dog in there and had to send in a search party. Once past the slightly constrained aperture, it can swallow a bigger load than is initially apparent. Like the wave 1 foot under the rear bumper to open a lot when it worked. When it didn't, it just made me look stupid. In car tech, it's loaded with goodies plus a top-notch head-up display. There really is little more to want for. I even grew to like Command, a first for me. Drivetrain sort of, see below. In Sports Plus, the C300 definitely gets up and goes, complete with a burp on the up change from the exhaust and a decisive thump in the back as the gear slots home. The seats are lovely in every way, comfortable, great range of adjustments, heated, great to look at with their thin profile, and beautifully finished on the leather, perforations, and stitching. Adaptive and automated headlights, simply brilliant technology. The ride. I like sporty, however, sporty does not have to equate to unrefined. While I was probably more of a fan of the ride than some at CA, made even better by the excellent seats, the problem with the C300 is that just as I was thinking this is not so bad, crashes would go into a pothole or over a sharp-edged road join. Plus, out on country B roads it never really settles down like you would expect a coupe of this nature should, and the constant jiggling does make it more wearing than you would like. Long and heavy coupe doors are one thing. Failing to engineer more robust détentes is another. On even the slightest incline, the coupe's doors would stubbornly refuse to stay open. Combine this with our driveway, inserting an 18-month-old into his baby seat while stretching into the rear, and I ended up with bruises on my back from the frameless windows. This is really not good enough for a $90,000 car. Drivetrain. Sorry Mercedes, but this car deserves a 6-cylinder rather than a 4-pot. The engine runs out of puff too easily, and the boosty nature of it detracts from low-stress cruising. Gearbox is not particularly rewarding to drive in manual mode. Engine/exhaust note. Just no. Burmester stereo. While the brushed steel speaker grills look the business, it is let down with muddy bass response and a lack of fidelity at higher volumes. Not terrible but not great either. Summary: this was one of the first long-termers through the garage this year where I would gladly hand over my own money for the car. It delivered the prestige sporty goods in spades and turned heads wherever it went. Living with the C300 was easy, a capable cruiser with a sporty side thrown in for good measure. However, the problem with the C300 is that it is just not sporty enough in terms of the engine outputs to deal with the compromised ride. So for me, I'd buy the C200 with the various AMG accessories, whip out the dental floss, debauch, and be happy. Mike Stevens, producer and news editor. The good. The C300 Coupe is ridiculously good looking with the standard AMG body styling kit and lower suspension height than the C-Class sedan. It offers a good balance between sportiness, comfort, and economical driving. Power is good, but not overwhelmingly quick. The seats are nice, but perhaps a little too firm. The bad: on the road, the tire and wind noise was more noticeable than I want from a premium car. And, even if it's really just a bit of a tourer, the C300 badge should somehow mean more noise and even more oomph, especially with its AMG looks. I guess I'm really just missing the 6 of previous generations. Interior doesn't feel as premium as it looks, and I really don't like the common infotainment system. Summary: frankly I'd take a 4 Series. It drives better. BMW understands a coupe should still be a fun car, a bit silly, and I personally reckon the cabin is nicer. I'm a bit of a lone voice on that one, though, and apart from the tail lamps, I actually think it's the better, meaner, looking car. Not by much though. Paul Merrick, senior road tester. The good: I was a big fan of the design. The exterior is appealing and in white it really looked quite striking. The interior was beautifully presented and it looks and feels like it's worth much more than it is. It comes loaded with features and the handful of options fitted to our car was spot on. It's the exact configuration I'd have it in if I was to buy one. The bad: I didn't like the weight of the doors, obviously an issue with a coupe. There were rattles coming from the dashboard. A reader has suggested this is a common issue with Mercedes C-Class and has to do with the suspension mounts. Not a huge fan of the gearbox, a little clunky and sloppy at times. Likewise the ride, way too firm at times and not befitting of a luxury cruiser. Summary: as we said in the comparison, for a luxury car it ticks all the boxes, but I'd buy a 4 Series over it. Tom Fraser, senior photographer. The good: ever since driving the C Coupe earlier in the year, I've been going on about how impressive it is and how special it makes you feel. It's almost the complete opposite of the equivalent 4 Series in that it's built to be seen in and enjoyed as a luxurious object rather than to driven sportily on the weekends. The bad: and the latter shows when you drive it around some twisty roads at a fair pace. Unfortunately, it just isn't built for that type of driving. The suspension has a very odd feeling going over certain bumps, whereby the wheels feel detached from the chassis, which sends a huge jolt throughout the cabin. The gearbox too, takes a while to drop down gears and get going. Summary: but yes, where it shines is the cafe strip. Spending circa $90,000 and entering that cabin, you immediately feel assured with spending so much money on a car. Everything is beautiful and that fragrance system is one of the best options I've seen in a car. It really does wonders to build an aura of expensiveness in the cabin. I wasn't much impressed by the looks when it first came out, but it easily grew on me and now it's just drop dead gorgeous. Oh, and by the way, I totally agree with Beach saying that you'd buy the C200 and debauch it. All variants look the same, and why spend more money to get a slightly higher tune 4-cylinder car? James Ward, Associate Publisher. The good: it looks and feels like a more expensive car. It impresses wherever you go and people tend to look twice at it in the street. The level of standard equipment is excellent and the way Mercedes integrates technology in both infotainment and driver assistance is getting better and better. The bad: once you've gotten over the "oh this is nice" moment, there are some elements in the cabin that feel a bit light and flimsy. The trim on the door panels, for one. The back seats are small and very difficult to access, and having someone moving in and out all the time is a bit annoying. Plus, I'm finding the look of the curved roof becoming less favorable over time. From the front it looks a bit goofy. Summary, it's a lovely cruiser and a very stylish car, and I would recommend it to my dad. There is something about a Mercedes coupe that has a bit of an old man stigma about it. Plus, you don't feel like driving it hard or sportily, and so you're better off saving money on the equally stylish C200 or perhaps the C-Class estate. Farewell. The white coupe has now returned to Mercedes, with a shade under 8,000 kilometers put on the clock over a period of 4 months. We suffered a chipped windscreen thanks to a tip truck on the freeway, and no servicing done other than a quick check over and a clean bill of health by Mercedes HQ. Once the car arrived from Sydney, Kurt drove it down. As you can see from the feedback from the team, the 2016 Mercedes C-Class Coupe is a highly desirable car, but the C300 as the top of the non-AMG range is a bit underwhelming in the performance stakes. Save your money and grab a C200 for all the right looks, or dig a bit deeper and go for the new 2017 Mercedes-AMG C43 Coupe to get the right amount of go to match the show, without needing to resort to the full-tilt C63. 2016 Mercedes C300 Coupe. Date acquired June 2016. Odometer reading 7,532 kilometers. Distance since last update 1,520 kilometers. Consumption since previous 9.9 L/100 km. Thank you for watching. If you find our video interesting and useful, please like and subscribe our channel. Thank you.